Hello everyone, my name is Roke here, and in this video I'm going to briefly overview how you can maximize your time in the Warwithin Early Access, specifically focusing on gear. I'm going to put a disclaimer here that this video is entirely just suggestion, and any and all progression you make during the Early Access period can quickly be caught up on and surpassed after the official launch on August 26th. This is just for those who want to try to push the bar and be as strong as possible for this brief period. Most of the features are disabled due to it being preseason, and heroic dungeons in their entirety are disabled until the official launch on the 26th, but there's still some ways that you can get ahead of the curve and work towards a nice set of gear during the early access period. This is going to be the first in a series of Warwithin overviews, with this one focusing in on gearing during the early access period. In the next several days, you can expect videos about delves, hero talents, mounts, and an official overview of Season 1 in its entirety to make sure you have all the information you need to succeed in those initial weeks. For now though, sit back, grab a snack, and let's get into how you can efficiently gear during that early access period next week. Starting off with the obvious one is going to be dungeons. A cool tip I'd like to throw out here is that you do not have to play with players at all to gear through this method in early access if you don't want to, as both normal and follower dungeons reward item level 554 gear in the early access period. This gear is not upgradable, but is pretty much the standard of quote-unquote top gear during this period, outside of a few select cases. If you're someone who cares about being ready for heroic dungeons on that initial launch day, I recommend spamming these to fill out every slot. Delves are actually going to be the bread and butter of early access, as during the preseason you can complete up to a tier 3 delve, and this does include the early access period. Bountiful delves happen once per day in each of the 4 zones, and they can reward you with an item level 571 gear on the Adventurer path, meaning that not only is it gear above the dungeons in the early access, but it's also upgradable to 580 during this period strictly for Valor Stones, and if you can smuggle some Weathered Crest, it can even go up to 593. The non-bountiful delves aren't awful either, granting the same item level 554 gear as normal and follower dungeons, so these are also a viable gearing option during early access. Delves also have the added benefit of great vault slots, so if you fill out your slots during the first week, you will see a nice 590 piece on the veteran track in your weekly chest the following week, which in the initial weeks is nothing to snark at. Crafted gear in the early access largely depends on the quality you can get it at, but based on the Soul Sigil 2 tooltip, it seems crafted gear will have a 561 to 574 item level, which if you can reliably find a way to craft this gear, this might actually be the strongest way to level during the initial period, as if viable during early access, this will be the only way to fully equip an heroic level dungeon loot well before heroic dungeons are even available. Finding the recipes, materials, and crafting skills to reliably get the loot at a good level may be a challenge, but if you can find a way to do it, you want to hone in here during your early access endeavors. Another thing to note is the importance of Renown gear. While I don't have any reputable Renown farming tips for the early access, I will say that if you are able to push certain thresholds, you will be rewarded with some fairly impressive gear. Each of the 4 main factions in the Warwithin reward gear at certain Renown thresholds, and these can be an easy way to fill in some gear slots with powerful gear in the initial week. At Renown 2, you can acquire a 567 piece of gear, whereas at Renown 7, you can get a 584 piece of gear, both of which are upgradable. You can also obtain a champion gear at Renown 16, but seeing as that probably won't be possible during the early access period, I wouldn't worry too much about those. Overall, this is going to be an interesting experiment, as this will be the first, and hopefully last time in WoW's history, that we're going to see early access to an expansion. In this video, we've gone over all the viable gearing methods during this brief 3 to 4 day period, and I hope you find some value in it as you're preparing for the official launch on the 26th, or just generally looking to get ahead, as after you've reached level 80 a few hours into the early access, you're going to want something to do. Remember, if you have any questions or clarifications you'd like answered, to drop a comment down below, and you can also drop a message on Discord in our community server, where you'll find new content and announcements almost every day. For now though, that's all for me, so thank you all so much for watching, and until next time, I'll catch you later. See ya!